Fine. So good morning everyone. We were discussing about the various concepts related to the management in the previous classes. As we discussed earlier, in the previous class we have discussed about the evolution of scientific management approach, where this particular scientific management approach is the one which deals with the scientific concepts, which involves with various aspects. So in this particular scientific management approach, we have dealt with Taylor scientific management approach. What this Taylor scientific management approach is? What are the various points which we have mentioned us in the previous class? These are the various principles, right? So one is separation of planning and doing. The entire work has to be divided into different parts and bifurcate it in front of to all the employees in order to make them to work effectively. Second one is functional foremanship, which speaks about the various managers who have to be involved in order to direct the employees as well as take care of the employees in terms of work. Whereas the elements of scientific management speaks about three different aspects. One is work study. Second one is please come on. Work study. Second one is
work importance,
then
work measurement,
what are the various measurements which has to be taken care in order to run that particular organization successfully. Whereas bilateral mental revolution speaks about taking care of the employees and motivating them in order to make them to work effectively. That speaks about the bilateral mental revolution. Whereas financial incentive speaks about giving the extra benefits to the employees when they start working in an effective manner. Whereas economy speaks about the profit and loss of the organization must be well balanced in such a way that there must not be a drastic change or there must not be any sort of more fluctuations in terms of organization economy. So this is what we have spoken about. These are the six principles which Taylor has suggested us, and he was an intern and later he became a chief engineer of that particular company, and Taylor was considered as father of scientific management. Okay, so similarly there is one more person with the name called as Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol is a one scientist who started his career as a mining engineer in an industry, and he was acting as a manager in that particular company. And he says that management can be followed, or management can be executed in a specific organization by using different principles. And he suggested these are the eight important principles which are majorly required for a specific organization. He says that division of work. Division of work indicates what? The work has to be divided into different parts, as mentioned by Taylor also. Taylor says that separation of planning and doing, but this person says the entire work, including starting from planning to actuating, the entire work of a specific product development or a specific work must be divided into different parts, and each and every part of that particular work has to be assigned to each and every employee. There must not be any sort of disturbances or any sort of influences when we are going to divide the work and assign the work to the employees. Like for example, if I take an example of division of work, for example, let us take an example of let us take a very interesting example as pizza. We have ordered a pizza and we are 6 members. One pizza, 6 members. 6 members, when we are 6 members, the complete pizza must be divided into 6 six different pieces of equal size. Then only all six people will be satisfied. If I divide that particular work or a particular pizza, one piece has big piece and another one has small and another one has somewhat big. If I do like this and if I divide that particular pieces into to my colleagues or to my friends, saying that this big pizza is for my best friend, this pizza is for second friend, this pizza is for third friend. Like if the first friend gets bigger, he will be happy, whereas the second person will not be happy. Why? Because he got a small piece. When this thing happens, when we apply the same concept, while dividing the work to the employees, then one employee might be happy, but the other employee may not be happy. Why? Because the workload which has been assigned for one employee is small and the other employee is big. But in this particular case, when it comes to the work aspect, when it comes to eating aspect, the one who gets big, he will be happy. But when it comes to the work aspect, if I give a huge task to employee 1 and a small task to employee 2 and a minute task for employee 3 and a very big task for employee 4, if I divide like this, then employee 1 and employee 4 will be having more load of work, whereas employee 2 and employee 3 will not be having more work here. If this type of situation occurs in any organization, whether it may be in a small organization or big organization, starting from a primary school to the graduate school, if anything is happening in this manner, then the employees may not be happy and it cannot achieve the success. Why? Because the employee 1, when he gets a huge task, and if employee 2 doesn't get, like, they will compare themselves with others. When they compare themselves with others, they will not be happy, that they will say that the employee, there is some partiality in while dividing the work. Manager has given a huge work for me, and the other person who belongs to the same team is getting small. So there is some sort of influence which is running in the team. When this type of culture or this type of environment occurs in the organization, then that particular organization or the team of that particular organization may not achieve success. If I want to achieve a success, then there must be a proper process which has to be carried out by the manager without thinking about the relationship between them. When it comes to the work aspect, all are one. All will be one. Each and every employee must get the same type of workload in the organization. If there is some sort of influence and if there is some sort of disturbances which comes while dividing the work, then automatically the employees will not be satisfied. So he says that while dividing the work, we have to identify how many modules are there. When it comes to the software industry, we speak the development of products in terms of modules. We speak the development of product in terms of modules. I think you people came across in terms of software engineering. Like when you are going to develop a product, each and every component of that particular product is considered as a module here. Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, Module 4, Module 5. Combining all those modules together forms a product. So, while dividing the work, we have to identify the process of work, we have to identify what is the work, we have to identify the process of work, we have to identify how can we execute this particular work, and who is good in terms of developing module 1, who is good in developing module 2, who is good. We have to identify these things. And we have to divide this particular work to the employees, representing that this is the one which is best work for you and you will be happy to work with this particular module. Whereas second module, third module, dividing and making them, motivating them to work in that particular aspect. That is what the major important thing which we have to do before starting the work. Before starting the work. After starting the work, we can't divide it. After eating the pizza, I can't divide it. Before eating the pizza itself, I have to divide it and I have to submit, you have to give it to everyone as a manager. So similarly, before starting the process of work, we have to identify these things, and based upon that, we have to divide those the complete work into different parts, and we have to submit those particular parts to each and every employee and ask them to work by motivating them. That is the process which has to be carried out in the first step. Second one is authority and responsibility. So my question to you all here is, do you have responsibility? Yes. Anyone please do answer, or I have to think that nobody have responsibility. What is the meaning of responsibility first of all? Anyone please? I don't want to speak out the names and ask you the answer. Instead, you can come voluntarily and you can answer me the question. What is responsibility?
So taking some care, particular care on the work or something, sir.
Getting some care on a particular work.
Yeah, sir.
Any other
To have
answer?
some control over something, sir.
Control on something. Okay, then. While answering, please mention your name and answer, please, so that I can come to know who is active and who is inactive. If it was a offline class, it was easy for me to identify you. But when it comes to the online process, it's difficult for me to identify who is answering and who is sleeping.
Duty of dealing with someone or something.
Okay. So now, what is authority? See, according to my knowledge, authority and responsibility is interrelated to each other. Authority without responsibility is like an empty vessel. Authority without responsibility is like an empty vessel. Whereas responsibility without authority is very dangerous. Responsibility without authority is very dangerous. Why? Because I will tell you the difference between authority and responsibility here is, authority speaks about the designation of the employee in a specific organization, whereas responsibility speaks about, based upon the designation, what are the responsibilities that has to be allocated to that specific employee. Like responsibility says that the work culture, what is the work that has to be carried out of employee 1 who is having a specific authority, specific designation. Like based upon your designation, you will have certain responsibility. For example, in software industry, if I speak, there will be different peoples with different designations. One will be acting as a junior software engineer, one will be acting as an intern, one will be acting as a senior software engineer, one will be acting as a team leaders. Whether all the people will be having same responsibility? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Sir.
No, right? Why? Because they have their own particular way of working. Because the company or the organization have designed what is the work for an intern in a specific company, and what is the work that has to be assigned for junior software engineer, what is the work that has to be assigned for software tester, what is the work that has to be assigned for software developer, and what is the work that has to be assigned for a team leader. They will have their own frame. Similarly, when it comes to a general aspect, authority as a son, you are like son or a daughter, you are like, your designation is you are the son of a specific family, son of a particular family. What is the role of you as a son to your parents? What is your responsibility as a son? As a son or a daughter, what is your responsibility? Your authority is, that is nothing but a designation. You are a son. And what is the responsibility that you have?
To take care of them,
To take care of
parents,
parents and yourself. Second one is to make them happy, and you must be happy, whether whether you are son or a daughter, irrespective of that particular designation. Our role as a son, my role is to make my parents happy and keep my family happy, and I must be happy. That is what the agenda which I can fix when it comes to the aspect of a family. When it comes to the aspect of the organization giving an authority and without allocating any responsibility to him is like an empty vessel. Just let us take an example. Tomorrow, my organization might, if my organization gives me a responsibility of an higher designation and without any responsibility, you are the one who has to deal with hostels as an hostel supervisor or hostel chief superintendent, and they won't give me the responsibility. If they don't give me the responsibility, only authority will not help me to work in that particular place. Once they give me the designation saying that you can act, you must act as a chief superintendent of all the hostels of our college, then they will be framing some responsibilities, like as a chief superintendent you must take care of each and every hostel, and you must be in contact with all the wardens of that particular hostel, and you must approve the works which are most importantly needed for the students of each and every hostel. So these are some responsibilities. If they give me those responsibilities along with authority, then I can be happy and I can work. I can work according to the instructions given by my higher authority. But when they give me only authority, and if they say that you sit quiet, what is the use of it? Designation is chief superintendent, but I don't have any control. If I don't have any control, then it's useless. That is nothing but an empty vessel. Authority I have, but I don't have any responsibility of taking care of the hostel. Then it is an empty vessel. But giving a responsibility without authority, they haven't given me the chief superintendent. Instead, they asked me to take care. Then it is most dangerous. Why? Because nobody will be accountable for any wrong issue which takes place in the specific hostels. Why? Because I don't have any authority. I am not at all, and there is no documentation of it. So I can do whatever I like. If something goes wrong, who is held responsible for it? Who is accountable for that particular work? That will be a problem. That will be a problem. Responsibility without authority is very dangerous. Responsibility is one which has to be carried out in each and every organization. And Fayol says that this authority, and based upon the designations that you are fixing to the employees, allocate the specific work, allocate the same work to the employees, wherein they can take that particular responsibility in a well manner to complete the work. I can't ask sweeper to take up the class. Sweeper designation role is, their responsibility is to clean the departments, whereas lecturer's role is to take care of the students and make them to enrich their knowledge for their further future. Whereas HOD's role is to take care of the department, to take care of the students, at the same time to take care of the employees of the organization or of a specific department. So each and every person will be provided with some sort of responsibilities. That is what he says, that each and every person must be the one who is designated with a specific designation. They must be allocated only with that particular work, not with other work which they don't have the knowledge on it. So this is what about the authority and responsibility speaks about. Discipline. What is discipline? Discipline speaks about See, authority and responsibility. Authority is completely dependent on discipline. What is your discipline? I am a computer science student, or I am a computer science graduate. So your designation is computer science graduate. But if they give you the work of mechanical, go and work in a mechanic shop and complete that particular engine work. Can I do it? Or design a sensors which can identify the objects on the left and right side of a particular car, like using artificial intelligence technologies or using embedded systems. It's very difficult for me. Why? Because I know how to write a code, but I don't know how to design the electronic gadgets. So discipline speaks about the specialization which has been done by the employees of the organization. Based upon the specializations of the employees, we have to identify the working culture of those employees, and we have to allocate the work to them. That is what discipline speaks about. Whereas the fourth point here is unity of command. Unity of command is nothing but the manager is the one who has to take care of these 2 points. One is fourth point and fifth point. Unity of command speaks about how you are going to control, controlling the employees is one of the most important asset of the organization. If I don't have a control of employees, then the employees will not work effectively. If I have a control towards the employees, then I can make them to work effectively. So how you are going to control your employees, that is very important. I can control my students. How you are going to control your students? If I am more arrogant on you people every class, what is going to happen? Every time I go on scolding you people, even though you have not done anything. Why? Because I must make you to know that I am very strict and I will scold you people. Is that the way to control the students according to you as a student?
No, sir.
How can, if you are a teacher, how you are going to control your student? If you are a assistant professor of a specific college, how you are going to control the student?
So tell them softly.
Will you listen if I tell you softly?
So if they don't listen, then we need to go
Pardon?
scolding, sir. If they don't listen, sir, then we need to scold, sir.
So we have to make them to understand what is the mistake. That is the first point. Controlling doesn't mean that if I scold every time, he will listen. He may sit quiet in the class, but he may not listen to the class. If I want my student to under my control, then he must show interest towards the class. That is one important thing. So in order to make him to bring inside the class, like when the teacher speaks something about a specific concepts, he must be totally involved in order to listen what sir is saying or what madam is saying, and how he is going to digest that. That is very important thing. See, making you to sit silent in the class and completing the class is not a big deal. Instead, identifying who is listening and who is not listening. That similarly in terms of organization, who is working and who is not working. Identifying that particular task is one of the very important asset when it comes to the organization for a manager, when it comes to the class for a teacher. So identifying those employees who are not working and making them to work is one of the toughest job of the manager. Why is not working? Is there any problem? Like we have to try to identify the problems of the employees. Commanding indicates that command, it's nothing but based upon your designation, you must be strict. At the same time, you must encourage your employees. Commanding deals with these two aspects, not with the scolding aspects. So when it comes to the employee's point of view, we must try to identify what is the problem of this particular employee, why he is not working effectively, what is the thing that is running in his mind. We have to try to identify them. If we are not able to identify, we have to meet him personally and we have to ask him, what is your problem? What is there any problem that, like, we have to make him to tell us the problem, and then only we can find the solution for it. If the student doesn't come to us saying that, sir, I am facing a problem with this particular subject, then it's very difficult for us to identify, or it's identify that is everyone the specific student have not understood the subject and other students have it's very difficult to identify that. We have to personally ask him and motivate him, and finally we have to enrich him in terms of our knowledge as a teacher. So that is what the command speaks. And this command not only it only speaks about the employees, it also speaks about the suppliers, the one who is supplying the materials to the organization. Each and every employee, like the organization, must not change the suppliers every time. If they change the suppliers every time, then it's very difficult for them to identify, it's very difficult for us to know the process and procedure which has been followed for sending that particular products to the organization. Manager will be facing a lot of issues, like first day I got the materials from vendor 1, second day I got the same material with vendor 2, third day I got the same material with vendor 3. So when this is the case, then it will be a problem for them to identify the process. So commanding indicates that we have to identify the best vendor and we have to take the supply of only those particular vendors, only one from a particular supplier who can supply the material to us for a particular work. Whereas unity of direction speaks about unidirection process. The directions which has been assigned for each and every employee must be well focused. While whatever the work that we are assigning to the employees must be of unidirection one, and it must be well focused, wherein the employee can concentrate only on that particular work until he completes that particular work. For example, working on multiple tasks by the same employee for more number of days or for the same time, like multitasking is nothing but working on different tasks at the same time. If I do this at the same time, is it possible for me to show the efficiency in all the parts or on all the tasks?
No, sir.
It's very difficult. For example, here I am taking M&D subject, beside I will keep one more laptop with me and I will try to answer the questions of computer networks to other students or project details to other students. When I am switching from this particular place to other place, when I am performing the operation of multi-directions. When I am trying to perform the multi-direction operation, then it's very difficult for them to give the effective result in both the cases. You may not understand the class, and similarly the project students who are beside me, they may not be able to identify what sir is saying. When they doesn't understand, then it's useless. Similarly, when it comes to your class, like switching towards two classes at the same time may lead to the complications and it may not provide you an effective result. Unity of direction speaks about providing a focused direction to each and every employee on a specific work. Until that particular work gets completed, you must not assign the other work to the employee as a manager. That is what Foyle says about. Whereas the third one is subordination of individual interest to great general interest. What is subordination speaks about? What is subordination? What is the meaning of subordination? Any idea? Yes? Please speak out. To whom we call subordinates. Please answer me the question. To whom we call as a subordinates.
Sir, a person under the control of other person, sir.
The person who is under the control of other person is called as a subordinate. Fine, that's good. So here Foyle says that in any group, the interest of the group, okay, the interest of the group should be shared with all the employees of that particular group. The interest of a specific group people must be shared with all the employees of the same group in order to make them to enrich themselves and identify whether the interest which has been present in the specific employee of a specific group is correct or wrong in the world when it comes to the working condition. For example, I am working on a particular project. And along with me there are 10 people who are working with me, and I am also one of the employee among them, and there is one manager who is working as a manager to us. So while working, I will get some interest, some ideas on a same project which we are working for. So this is the model which we are working for, and there is some alternative which we can do in order to improve the efficiency of a specific product. So I will get some interest and I will get some sort of interest or ideas saying that, sir, this for this particular project, along with this, if we do some changes by adding some features, minute features related to the product, then it may provide us more effectiveness. I will go and share that particular idea or an interest to manager. What manager will do? He will it will not be one-to-one conversation. He will come to us, all the 10 employees who are working with me, they will make everyone will sit together, and the manager will say that this is what the interest or this is what the idea, general interest, converting an individual interest into a general interest. Speaking in front of all the employees by the manager, saying that Shiva Prasad has got this particular idea, and this is the idea which is somewhat worthful. What is your opinion? He will ask the opinions of each and every employee of a specific group, and they will take the suggestions from each and every employee. If it is worthful and if it is helpful, then we can add, or is there anything which we can change? All these particular things can be possible only if you share your ideas in front of others. My idea may be correct or may be wrong, but it can be known to me only if I share my ideas or interests in front of others. That whatever that idea that I have or an interest that I have, if I keep it inside me only, then it's waste. That idea will not get converted into a product. So converting that particular individual interest into a general interest will help the organization or the group of people who are working under the same project may lead to give more effective result compared to the result which was expected by the organization. That is what the 6th point speaks about. Next one is remuneration. Remuneration of personnel is nothing but personnel speaks about HR recruitment process. The one who is going remuneration speaks about, like you might have seen, like you know very well, who and all will be coming to the organization for a campus drives. HR of a specific organization, right? A manager of a specific organization, some team who are technically strong, and some team who are technically strong in terms of group people, like a group discussion and so on. There will be some 5 members team where each and every person will be acting as a employee of a specific organization. One person will be acting as an HR, one person will be acting as a technical team member, and some people will be acting as a person who can take up the aptitude test of each and every employee and finalize the things. So these are the things. So when they go outside the organization for recruitment process, who has to take care of the expenses? Rather than like I am giving the salary and I will ask my employee to go to Mumbai and recruit the employees and come back. So why? Because I am giving a salary to you. If I do this, what is going to happen? Will they go? Yes or no?
Sir.
They will go, but it will be a more like it will affect them. It will affect the organization as well as it will away because he has to go with his own personal earning. When personal earning comes into the picture in order to work extra rather than what is working in the organization will lead to. So what this particular person Foyle says that providing the remuneration to the employees who are going in and around the society for the work which is related to the organization is most essentially needed for each and every organization. Each and every organization must give a remuneration to each and every employee who is going for a work of the organization to different places. If I don't give, instead if I ask them to go with your salary, then it leads to the conflicts. That is what the 7 point speaks about. Whereas the 8 point centralization. What is the difference between centralization and decentralization? Yes? What is the difference between centralization and decentralization? Vijay Lakshmi. Where do people have heard about this centralization? Dhirendra or Deepak?
Sir, authorization under a single authority or a single
Please speak
mission is
louder,
called
please.
centralization, sir.
Please be louder. Yes?
Sir, when it comes to an organization, sir, under that we will have a single authority, no, sir. Like in that way, we'll know what is centralization.
One authority.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Any other answer? Neha, Prem Kumar, Lakshmi S, Spurti, Shruti complete. Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Control of an activity or organization under a single authority, sir.
Control of an activity or an organization under the single authority is nothing but what? Centralization.
Centralization.
One particular authority controlling all the process of an organization comes under centralization. Decentralization, n number of authorities with n number of responsibilities. Centralization,
Many authorities.
one single authority. Best example that I can give you is centralized AC, non-centralized AC. What is centralized AC? One single switch can control the entire room. One single switch can control n number of ACs of the entire room. If I switch on one switch, then automatically all the ACs will be on and it will be in a centralized manner. Switching one non-centralized AC is nothing but each and every AC will be having their own particular switch. It indicates what? AC1 is having its own authority and one responsibility with one switch. Second with second switch. Third with third switch. Each and every AC is not linked with each other. When there is no linking of each AC together, then it is called as decentralization. Decentralization is nothing but n number of authorities, each and every authority having their own responsibility, whereas one authority controlling all other activities of the organization is called as centralization. If there is no centralized authority, then it's difficult for us to control all the work which has been carried out in a specific organization. This is what about the FOIL administrative management speaks about. See, this is what about the evolution of scientific management. Understood, everyone?
Sir.
Any doubts?
No, sir.
Please unmute yourself.
No, sir.
No doubts. And so this completes with your first chapter of module 1. So in the first chapter, we have discussed about definition of management. Then we have discussed about two different definitions. One was from who have spoken about the first, what the first person says. Planning is nothing but art of getting the things done by the people, whereas second person George says 4 different plans, 4 different process. One is planning, organizing, activating and controlling. By using this, we are performing the operation and it contains 4 different activities. One is management as a process, management as an art, management as an art and science, management is a discipline and management as a career. Okay, and the next one is characteristics of management. Also, we have discussed about pardon? Okay, so those are the concepts which comes under module 1. Okay, in module 1, in first chapter of module 1. Understood? So, the next chapter in this particular module 1 is planning. So in planning chapter we will be discussing about what is planning, what are the features of planning, what are the nature of planning, importance of planning and types of plans. Here there are 2 types of plan, one is single use plan and the second one is standing plan. Okay, so here before going to the chapter, what is planning according to you?
Sir, in advance we'll think over that.
In advance, thinking about a specific work is called as a planning.
Yes, sir.
Any other answer? Even if you are not able to, like even if someone is not able to answer us, you know the answer, but if you are not able to represent that answer in English, not an issue, please speak in Kannada or any other language you know. By giving, even if you are thinking about planning, by giving some example, you are always welcome. But speak out. Like only few people are speaking and others are sitting idle. Let me choose a student here. Okay. Nafiza Nas. Suprata.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Nafiza, like according to you, what is planning? Who is speaking, Nafiza or what? Nafiza, are you there? Aishwarya?
Hello, sir. Your voice is not audible, sir. Once again, the question, sir.
What is planning according to you?
Hello.
Aishwarya, are you able to listen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is planning?
Process of thinking, sir.
Huh?
Process of thinking, sir.
Process of thinking. Okay. Nitendra?
Sir,
What is planning?
sir, thinking advance, sir. Was specific tasks.
Okay. Amruta NM? What is planning?
Do sir before.
Pardon?
Scheduling, sir.
Scheduling? What you are going to schedule?
Scheduling before only, sir.
Scheduling before only is called as
What to do next?
Okay. Fine. Anita?
Sir, making a plan, sir, if you are doing any task, what are the things we need to do for reaching our goal, the steps and all.
Fine. Bhagya?
Hello.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Process of thinking about activities which are required to achieve the goals.
Fine. Good. Deepak? Deepak Roti, are you there?
ಸರ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಪ್ಲಾನ್
ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಪ್ಪ? ಏನ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ಯಾ? ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? See, dear students, in simple manner, if I want to say, planning is nothing but which helps me to know. Planning is nothing but which helps me to know four different things. One is what is the work. Okay, second one is how to work, where to work, and when to work. It helps me to identify these four important aspects. One is what, how, where, when. For these four questions, I can get my answer only if I do a proper planning process. Planning is nothing but providing you the sketch of the work which has to be carried out by you in future. Before planning, we are not going to work on anything. Instead, we have to plan in such a way that the plan must be in a systematic manner. Planning something and doing something is not a big deal. Plan, whatever the plan that you are going to prepare, that plan must match with your schedule. It must match with your presence. It must match with your attentivity towards the work. See, what like doing something by doing some plan. Sir, I have planned, I have worked, but I have failed. According to you, once you plan, once you organize, once you start working, there is no failure, according to you. But I have failed. Why? Because you have not planned your work properly. Even though if your plan is proper, you might have not executed it in a proper manner. These are the things which comes into the picture when it comes to a planning process. In order to avoid this particular problems, one problem is I have planned well, but I have failed. I have planned, but I have not executed it. That is one point. I have planned, but worked, but failed. Why? Because you have not worked properly. Your plan is good. Third one is planning is not good, but worked hard. If the planning is not good and if you have worked, even though if you have worked hard on it, then you may not get an appropriate result for it. So in order to avoid these particular problems which I said you, we must plan the work which you are going to carry out in a systematic manner, wherein the plan must provide you an accurate results. Planning will help you to get the accurate results easily if you do a planning of a specific work in a proper manner. And this particular plan will help you to know four different things. One is what is the work, how to work, when to work, where to work. If you come to know this particular four important points, definitely 90% accurate result we may get on the work which we are going to carry out in the future. This is what about the plan speaks about. That is what the meaning of plan is. Meaning of plan is nothing but, according to one particular person who is called as Cones, he says that planning is a process, it is a systematic process, wherein we can come to know about what, where, when, how. What is the thing? What is the work? How to work? When to work? Then where to work? Can be known to the employee of a specific organization based upon the plan which has been designed by us in a systematic manner. And who is going to plan? Who is going to plan in an organization? Manager is the one who is going to plan the entire work, whereas employee is the one who is going to plan the work which has been allocated to him by the manager. Both are involved. One person with the name called a manager, he designs the plan of entire product, whereas employee designs the plan of the work of a particular product which has been assigned to him. So how can I, like, as an employee, my manager has designed the plan, entire plan of a particular product, and he has given me one sort of work of that particular project to me. So now my role is, as an employee, I will plan about the product, about the work which has been assigned to me in a proper manner, thinking about from where I have to start, how to start, then where, what to start, then when to start. Can be I will plan according to the work, piece of work of a particular product which has been assigned to me as I am an employee. Based upon that, I will plan myself. I will complete my work and I will give it to him. Manager only is not a person who is going to plan. Manager plans the entire product, whereas employee plans the work which has been assigned for him on a specific product which has been planned by the manager earlier. So these are the two important people who will be involved in planning. One person will be involved in the entire process and the other person will be involved in the piece of process which has been assigned to him. Piece of process is carried out by employee. Complete process planning is carried out by the manager of a specific organization. And this is what about the meaning of planning says. And what are the advantages of planning? Now I said you, like, everyone understood what is planning now? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, each and every student of this particular class, I want each and every student of this particular class to speak about one question. What are the advantages of planning that you can gain in your life if you are systematically planned? What are the advantages that you can gain? Take an example of a student itself. Pardon?
We can achieve the goals.
You can achieve the. Please let me know your name and answer.
Chandana sir.
Okay. We can achieve our goal successfully. That is your answer.
Yes sir.
Next.
Pooja sir. There will not be confusion sir.
There will not be any sort of confusion in the work.
Yes sir.
Next.
Rekha sir. Less chance of failure sir.
Pardon?
Less chance of failure sir.
Okay, fine. Next.
Prashant sir.
You
can do it in a systematic manner, sir. If you plan.
Next.
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 Yes sir.
Yes sir.
Next.
Yes sir.
Next.
Answer, sir. We
Ah.
can complete it without any delay of time, sir.
We can complete it without any delay of time. That is fine. Good. Next.
Ajit,
Ah.
we can judge judgment, sir. We can judge the future, sir. What will happen?
Judgment of future. Filling the gap between the present and future.
Yes, sir. We can expect any disadvantage from the future if you plan.
Okay, fine. Next.
Sir, Jayant, sir,
Ah.
sir, we can read the future if it is wrong happened.
If we can rebuild the future if something goes wrong.
Yes.
Fine.
sir.
Good. Good. Next.
Sir, we can.
Yes.
Arun sir,
Ah.
we will be prepared for the problems which we will face in future, sir.
Fine. Good. Next.
Sir,
Sir,
provide.
Yeah. Please. One by one.
Sir, provides guidelines for decision making. Sir.
Provides guidelines for decision making. Fine. Good. Next.
Sir, Neelima, sir, we'll be having correct path, sir, if we have planned.
A proper path for achieving the objective.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Good. Next.
Sir, there is
Anusha. Fine. Tell me. Anusha. Answer.
Sir, Dharani, sir.
Please.
Sir, we do not have tension at end of the time, sir.
Tension will not be there. Who is playing the music here? Yeah?
Sir, we can know any errors are there which will get if we get there, we will not worry.
Fine. Okay. According to like whatever the points that you people have discussed regarding the advantages of planning are very good. And as Jayant said, if something goes wrong, then again we will replan. That is what Jayant was speaking about. It is nothing but planning is also a flexible one. It is flexible in nature.
We will come to know what are the merits and demerits.
Merits, what I am asking about merits, madam. We will come to know about the merits and demerits of a particular work, isn't it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Fine, good. Fine, this is what about the planning and advantages of planning speaks about. Understood everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now, I have
Yes, sir.
shared the assignment and I have sorted out the problem which we were facing earlier. Now it's visible to everyone. Once you can check it out, and if you face any problem while uploading, please let me know regarding that. Okay, and I have changed the timing, like deadline. I have given the deadline as tomorrow 10th up to 11:59 p.m. You can upload your assignment by writing the assignment based upon the 3 points which I have mentioned in your assignment block. Okay, based upon that particular points which I have mentioned, write down your assignment properly, neatly, without like, and please try to use A4 size sheets.
Yes, sir.
You have to submit those particular assignments when you come to the college. Okay, don't write in the book. Instead, write in the A4 size sheets. Keep one file for it. Whatever the assignment that you are going to write, use that particular file and store it in a safer mode. And you have to submit those particular assignment to me once you are back to the college. Okay, and fine. This is what about today's class. In the next class, we will be discussing about the features of planning and nature of planning. Okay.